And here we go. Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and happy 4th of July to anyone watching this on the actual holiday. I am doing another finisher video for Mortal Kombat 1, and this time around I thought to myself, okay, who has a finisher that would be ideal for the 4th of July? Which, for that holiday here in the United States, it is a celebration related to the independence of the country. But all that aside, it is also by far the most fireworks-related celebrated holiday of the year. In fact, I wouldn't blame anybody for not really taking the independence part of that holiday into consideration and just thinking of it as the firework holiday here in the United States.
Your constables could also govern.
We are sworn only to protect and serve.
Take one. Action!
So yeah, when I wanted to make a holiday-related video for the 4th of July, I knew it kind of needed to be in some way firework-themed. That being said, there was one person with a finisher that I thought would be kind of perfect. I mean, after all, this character literally has fireworks-related powers. That character is going to be Li Mei, and the finisher I had in mind was her Roman Candle Fatality. And that Fatality for Li Mei, it turns the opponent into a firework. In fact, if I remember correctly, she kicks the opponent's head into the air using, I believe, their intestines or maybe their veins, something along those lines as the fuse, and once lit and it reaches the very end, well, it explodes in the air in a fantastical show of light. Yeah, that seems super appropriate for the holiday, so we are going for that one. And my opponent that was randomly selected by whatever calculates your opponent for the Kombat League is going to be somebody using Subzero and the kameo Sareena. I don't really have too much to say about that. I mean, I can't really think of anything related to the holiday related to Subzero, so yeah, he's just my opponent for this occasion. About the only thing really mention-worthy there is I'm pretty sure that Subzero has ended up being my opponent in more videos for Fatal Friday and these holiday videos than any other character in Mortal Kombat 1. I guess all that really means is that he is a very popular character. So good for you, Subzero. And depending on how I schedule out these videos, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the very first Li Mei finisher video that I end up posting on YouTube or, well, whatever other platform I might end up putting it on in the future. Even if somehow that statement does not end up being true and I did some other Li Mei video first or uploaded it first, as far as the actual order that I got her finishers in, this Fatality was the very first one. In fact, I think this was the second fight I ever did with Li Mei in the Kombat League. I know for a fact the very first one was going against somebody using Kenshi, but that person ended up doing a quitality before it reached its conclusion, so yeah, that video is kind of useless. And for my cameo, I ended up using Cyrax, which I did for a very specific reason. Now, whenever I go for these finishers in the Kombat League, normally what I'll do is I'll have one specific brutality in mind that I want to do, but then also have one of the fatalities memorized in case I don't get that brutality. So even though this is the Roman Candle Fatality video, it actually started off as a brutality video. The thing is, I did not end up getting that brutality. And the brutality I was going for, well, Cyrax was needed to accomplish it, or at least make it a lot easier. So there really wasn't any grand decision making behind why I used Cyrax besides wanting to get a specific brutality. In fact, I really don't think Cyrax is a very good pair up for Li Mei, at least not from what I have seen. So yeah, I'll explain what exactly I was trying to do with Cyrax whenever that video comes. It should be the very next Li Mei video that I upload. Just know that at the very end of this round, one of the reasons why I ended up winning it with a timeout just then was because I was trying to go for that brutality, and landing Cyrax's net was an essential part of that plan. So yeah, I ended up timer stalling my opponent trying to get a brutality for this video, and that did not end up happening, and it turned into a fatality video. Which I guess on that note, it's kind of noteworthy that this is the very first time I have ever used Cyrax as my cameo in one of these videos. Now, I wish I could say that with a little bit more excitement, but if I'm being completely honest, besides a bunch of failed attempts to get my opponent in the net at the very end of rounds, Cyrax really does not do anything for me in this fight. And knowing how it ends, I was basically fighting without a cameo for most of it, considering Cyrax ends up not really contributing in any major way to the fight. I don't exactly have a metric for this kind of thing, but I would say he's probably tied with Motaro or Kano as the cameo that probably did the least to help me out in a fight. Motaro specifically for Scorpion on a couple of occasions, and Kano very specifically whenever he was paired up with Subzero on one occasion. Granted, in Motaro's case, it really wasn't his fault. I just kind of forgot to use him. And in the Kano case, I literally only did that pairing to get one specific finisher because I thought that Sub-Zero would make it easier to get Kano's finisher. And then ironically, at the very end, I ended up getting it anyway, and it wouldn't have mattered because Sub-Zero really didn't do anything to contribute to the situation. So, you might hear this story again whenever we get around to the next Li Mei finisher video because there was a very similar outcome in that one. And speaking of outcomes, I should probably comment on the state of the fight because I really haven't acknowledged it too much up to this point. So yeah, I ended up winning the very first match of the set, with the final round coming from me winning due to timer stalling at the very end. And just a moment ago, Sub-Zero took his very first round victory of the entire matchup. So congratulations, Sub-Zero, it's not going to be a clean sweep against you. Other than that though, the fight is still ongoing in this second match, which I am now realizing is in the corrupted version of the Living Forest, which is on fire, which is kind of ironic for this being a 4th of July video. So now in my headcanon, due to overuse of fireworks by the powers of Li Mei, we're just gonna pretend she accidentally caught this stage on fire, a very real possibility that sometimes comes with the use of fireworks. Please use responsibly. Oh, who am I kidding? I already know she's not going to use them responsibly. We know how that fatality ends. It's a fatality. And alright, after finishing up that last round, we find ourselves in a third and final round for this second match. All I need is one more round and I'm going to win the entire set. Sub-Zero needs this round in order just to keep himself alive in this fight. So yeah, this is one of the very first times I ended up using Li Mei in the Kombat League. And I really wasn't intending to use her whenever I did end up recording this video. I had just did a little bit of practicing with her in preparation for doing her story mode video for, well, my playthrough of the story mode for Mortal Kombat 1. And I figured why not, I'm already kind of sort of at least a little bit familiar with her gameplay. I thought I'd go ahead and try it out in the Kombat League and see if I can get one of her more unique finishers because I thought it might take a few attempts to get it. So yeah, had it not been for my story mode playthrough, this probably would not have ended up being recorded whenever it did, and then I might not have been inspired to turn it into a 4th of July video. Or if I ended up being inspired about it, it probably would have been something I tried doing like the week of 4th of July, so yeah, at least this way I went ahead and got it done way early and just had it readily available. And here is the critical point in the fight. Sub-Zero gets the freeze, but I am way too high and he ends up dropping the combo. He tries catching me on the way down, but he fails to hit me. I then punish, meter burn that little projectile for Li Mei, and then go directly into my fatal blow. And just like that, it is over. Now, I was so not used to using Li Mei that I actually forgot the combination for the fatality, so while the fatal blow was going on, I had to look it up really quickly. Fortunately, the only thing we missed was the Cyrax part, so we still get to see all of the firework goodness from Li Mei.
Fatality. Li Mei wins.
And there it is, that was the Roman Candle Fatality for Li Mei. And I guess we could call that a very explosive ending to this set in the Kombat League. Now if you find yourself wanting to see that fatality one more time, don't worry, I have you covered. I'll go ahead and show it one more time at the very end of this outro, that way we can all enjoy it one final time before we part ways on this 4th of July. But yeah, as of the time I am recording this, I do have a couple of other Li Mei finisher videos I already know that I'm going to be doing because I already recorded them in the Kombat League. As I am voicing this over, I don't have all of her finishers yet, but I'm certainly going to get around to it. So with that being said, I'll probably already go ahead and add Li Mei into my regular rotation until I either catch up on all the finishers I do have for her, or I end up getting the rest of her finishers and scheduling them into my regular rotation so that things go on seamlessly without anyone ever knowing I didn't have them all available at the exact same time. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching it, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to check out some of the other finisher-related videos I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. All the ones I have for Mortal Kombat 1 can be found under the Mortal Kombat 1 online playlist. But yeah, that is going to do it for me. Take care on this holiday. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time.
Fatality. Li Mei wins.